Well, it's nice to see people this morning because I slept in. I never sleep in my entire life, but I slept in. Pardon me. So I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get ready for class, which is a unique experience for me to be rushing for something like that. So I am excited that people are showing up, and I'm even more excited that I made it to join you. I had a later night last night. I guess it wasn't late, but I got home and I was all excited because where I work for the town of Wolfville, we have our annual kind of kickoff to the holidays. And I scored the best job last night of taking photos for families with their kiddos when they were visiting Santa. So my heart was just exploding. It was really, really fun. So I'm full of gratitude today. I hope by the end of the practice, everybody else is, if you're not starting that way. And today we're going to start with inversions, or not start with, we're going to start with some lymphatic drainage. But inversions, all you need to know about inversions are that they are positions traditionally where the head is lower than the heart. And it's good for circulation, it's good for clearing your mind. Apparently, it's good for focus. I will be the judge of that. And also, it's just a nice way to shift our perspective. And that's what today is about, just shifting our perspective. So, the first thing we're going to do is actually shift our energy, and we want to kind of build some excitement and build some warmth in our bodies. Let's start though grounded into the mountain pose just for some breath work. So to do that, bring your feet underneath your hips being here, not here. Toes are spread, arches are lifted. My knees always want to kind of pull me down. I guess it's not my knees as much as my hamstrings. So I'm really going to kind of push into the feet, pull up, 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 up. Tuck the tail under, pull up and back through the core. Shoulders slide down the back. All of that's very intense. I'm going to bring my arms down, palms gently facing forward, long neck, chin maybe pulls back a little bit. Soften through your face, close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to deepen the breath and imagine with every breath you're pulling it through your feet all the way up. And then as you exhale out the mouth, you've kind of spun all of those wheels that we called chakras. So as we're breathing and kind of easing into the practice, I invite you to consider, as we're focusing today on shifting our perspective, is there anything that you maybe want to or need to change your perspective on? And if there is, just kind of keep that beside the mat in case you need to grab it and work on it today. Over the next couple of breaths, tighten up everything in the body, really formalize the posture. Chest is proud and lifted. Then take one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, soften a little bit. Release some of the tension in the body. And still with the eyes closed, maybe swaying a little bit. And then let's open the eyes, take a deep breath in, sweeping the palms up, looking up overhead, stretch, stretch, stretch. And then let the arms come down. I'm going to bring my feet a little bit further apart, just looking for comfort here. Sweeping up again, deep breath in, reaching for the sky. And then exhale, softening down. Let's do that again. Inhale up. Reach, 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 reach. And then exhale, just softening down. Good. Roll your shoulders. And we're going to start to move right into some lymphatic work. So I'm doing some big shoulder circles. I'm going to bring my hands up, really as big as you can, feeling those shoulder blades moving around. Make sure your core stays a little bit tight while we're doing this. Switch directions. Couple more here. We've got these big lymph nodes under the armpits, kind of around the shoulder joints. So this is great. And you can let your arms relax down. Okay, just gently moving side to side, a little bit of a twist here. And look over your shoulders as you go. There's no rush. Go at your own pace. And let your arms settle. Let's start with the head. So I'm going to look to one side as far as I can go, and then over to the other. Keep the shoulders back. And at your own pace, side to side. Do not worry about the crunchy, cracky sounds. Keep those shoulder blades back and together. Couple more. Good. Now we're going to take our thumb out in front of our face and high enough that it's kind of nose level. We want to do 45-degree range of motion, but don't take your eyes off the thumb. So we're going to start and we look up almost like we're trying to look over the shoulder while still looking at the thumb. And then we track down, almost going to the opposite armpit, still looking at that thumb. So we're coming up and down. This is a big, crunchy sounding one for me. This also actually taps into the vestibular part of the brain and the vestibular system, and it can help us with balance. So we'll do a couple more. And then switch over to the other side. So again, start almost looking over the shoulder, down to that opposite armpit. Not only is this hard to do, but it's hard to do while giving instructions. Make sure the shoulders are still back. And releasing, good. Fingertips to the shoulders, arms up, and from the waist, we're twisting. And track with your eyes, side to side. And relaxing. Good stuff. So my feet are comfortably apart. And I'm just going to start doing these hip circles, harkening back to the days of hula hoops. Keep the core tight. Your arms can be wherever. If I don't hold mine on my hips, I feel like a dork. So wherever it should be, it should be. Notice while you're doing this, kind of what muscle groups are working to make this happen. This is one I really feel in the core. Let's switch directions. So we have some big lymph areas in the gut. So this is helpful. Good. Now, feet together. Same thing, circling. And go as big as you can go without falling over. Let's switch directions before I do fall over. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, as wide as you can manage. I'm lucky I've got my mat out this way. This one's a lot harder. Notice again, kind of tightness in the hips. Hey, Jeff. Couple more of these. Other direction. And again, as awkward as this is, it's so good for us. Okay, so from this really wide position, balance on one leg, and we're going to do a big sweep up and over, up and over. Move with control. And how about we also try to move with grace? And maybe that grace needs to be extended to ourselves. So this range of motion, good for strength, good for building heat in the body. Now we're also tapping into the lymph nodes in the groin. Let's do a few more of these. Phenomenal, good. Bring the feet together again. Bend your knees and think about the range of motion coming through your knees. So now we're getting into the lymph behind the knees. Lots of deep breaths. This one really pumps some heat. This is also really starting to focus on circulation. So just as we were pulling that breath up through the feet this morning, we need to pump blood up to the heart. Switch directions. Good. And coming up. Now, this is a tougher one for balance. If you need a wall, that's okay. I'm going to balance on one leg. That knee is going to be a little bit bent. And then I need to lift my other leg up. And now from the knee down, I'm doing little circles. Think about really nice deep breath. Hold the core tight. I think it might be hard to tell that I'm doing circles. It might look like I'm just kind of shaking my leg. Let's switch directions. Morning. And then we need to bring that foot behind. Bend your front knee, arms in front. And it's kind of like I don't know. I have really no idea what this is, but it maybe is like skiing. I don't know. So we're just kind of pumping forward. Hopefully it feels good for the arms. Good. Then that back foot becomes weight-bearing foot and leg, other leg up, circles. Thank you, Wall. This is a great one to get the heart rate up, I find. And again, think about it. We're pumping blood, so all of this is working. Let's switch directions. This direction is really hard for me. My brain's like, nope, nope, nope. Couple more. That's enough. Putting the foot back and arms forward. And again, just pumping forward. Nice little stretch through the hip flexors too. So there's one more piece of this. Hello again, Jeff. I feel like Jeff is waiting for a delivery. Let's bring our feet back together and just starting to bounce. So we're just pushing up and down. Let your arms just flop. Nice deep breaths. So this is really activating your calf muscles. Your calf muscles are designed to pump blood up. And the nice thing about doing the work with the lymphatic system, which yoga does anyway, but this is a little bit more targeted, but keep drinking fluids, because whatever we kind of push through that filter, you then have the ability to get out of your body. So you're gonna poo, pee, sweat, cry. It can all come out however you choose. A few more. And relaxing. Good, good, good. Let's take the legs quite wide apart. Sweeping up, connect your hands, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Let's lean to one side. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Other side. Inhale up. Sweep your hands down. And let's do that once more. Hopefully it felt good. Inhale up. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Exhale, lean to one side. Inhale up. And exhale. Inhale up. And softening down. Good. So quick refresher about that work that we just went through, as ridiculous as it is. We start with kind of the lymph in this area, and we're kind of thinking about moving the all the fluid down through the lymph. And then we want to kind of pull up so everything meets in the middle. So negative pressure, positive pressure, good times. Let's come down to the mat, stretch out on your back, and then we're going to start getting into some of the very gentle, subtle inversions that's on our list of stuff to do today. So meet me down here on the mat, please. So take a moment and just wiggle into the floor. Shoulders are back. Take a few nice deep breaths. Let's pull one knee into the tummy. You can use your hands to pull it back. Let's bring in the other knee. And then stretching the legs up into the air. Oh, hello, Ted. I just got a mouthful of dog tongue, not expected. Okay, so this is again a very subtle inversion. Thanks, buddy. It's a very subtle inversion because the head is not that much below the heart in this posture, but it's good enough to start with. So keep breathing here. Push those heels up as high as you can and see if you can start to move the toes towards the body. Good. Let's bring the knees back down to the tummy and then bring the feet to the floor. My heels are as close to the bum as possible, and my knees are going to be hip width apart. Shoulders are rolled back into the floor, and your hands can be wherever you would like them to be. And we're going to, oh my goodness, we're going to work on, I'm going to try and work on the bridge pose. We'll see how that goes with these doggos. Again, the bridge is a very gentle inversion. We're not lifting the heart that much higher than the head, but it's still a little ways up. So we take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you want to start to lift the hips up and start small. So think about that subtle change in position with the heart. Take a few breaths. Make sure your knees aren't kind of splaying out to the sides. Feel your feet working. And then slow, 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 lower back down to the mat. Feel that lumbar region of the back release and relax. And we're gonna go again. Well, I try to figure it. I think dogs are looking for FOOD, because normally they might just be sleeping right now. So let's do the bridge again. Let's on the inhale. So breathing in, exhale, we lift up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up, really pulling back into the core. Maybe we're lifting a bit higher. Exhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Good. Pull the knees slowly to the tummy. Toe knuckles pressed together and straighten up into the air. Point your toes. Flex your feet. Point your toes. Flex your feet. Point the toes. Feel the stretch in the top of the feet. And then flex. So when I say flex, I'm bringing my toes as kind of in the direction of my knees. My heels are pressing up. I'm feeling that stretch through the hamstrings. And let's point once more. And then lower down. Feet back on the floor. Okay, we're going to go through the bridge again. This time, if you are comfortable, as you lift up, you could actually lift up on the onto the toe base and then push up that way and see what that does to change your position. I'm going to have my palms down on either side of the hips. Shoulders are rolled into the floor, and I'm moving my heels even closer to the bum. Gonna take a deep breath in through the nose if possible. Exhale, and I'm kind of rolling the hips up, lifting up on the toes, pressing up, pressing up, pressing up. And then slowly sinking down. That's our inhale. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale down. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale down. So this time, let's move back up into our bridge. I'm up on the toes. I'm going to push further here into the hips. My hips are lifting. I'm gonna hold and breathe. And slowly sinking down. Good. Take a moment here. Bring your arms out to the sides if you have space. Bent at the elbows, palms facing up. Bring your knees to your tummy. Slowly lower to the left-hand side. We're going to do a little twist here. So bring those knees down, head and shoulder, push to the other side. Deepen your breath to soften into this posture. And then tight through the core, knees come back to center, head comes to center. And then we switch to the other side. So knees are going one way, head is looking the other way. And then let's come back to center. You can leave the arms where they are. We're going to extend the legs back up into the air. Point the toes. Flex the feet. Point and flex. Point and flex. Good. Bring those feet down. Okay. So now we're going to stack another bit onto the bridge. This time, if you are interested, as you start to lift up, you can tuck hands underneath. So you're going to kind of push your butt and your hips up into the air by balancing on the back of the arms, the upper arms. And so I'll show you what it looks like. And you can do it with feet flat on the floor, or you can lift up onto the toes. I like feet flat on the floor. And then you can slide on down from that. If that seems too intense, come back to just a normal bridge lift. We're going to come up into the posture and hold it for a few breaths. Try to not balance on the top of your head. See if you can kind of find a comfortable head position. So when you are ready, take a breath in. And then you're going to start to exhale. And I like to lift the hips up and then find my way into the pose. Lots of breath. And then slowly releasing back down. Good. Let's pull in one knee. Extend the opposite leg. And as you pull the knee close to the tummy, feel that other leg lengthening. So the foot is pulling away from the body. Keep the chest open. And then switch sides. Good job. Knees to the tummy, rolling up and forward. And then we're going to flip down onto our tummy, and we're going to do a few rounds of cobra. Cobra is not an inversion, but it's a nice way to reset, especially through the lumbar spine, after doing some more intense work down through the bridge and those leg lifts. So come on and join me. And I like to start in this very kind of relaxed, kind of Sphinx pose. So I'm weight bearing on the forearms, and this is going to come in handy very soon. And the tops of my feet are pressing into the floor. I'm just making sure that that back is able to handle a little bit of this range of motion. If your back is feeling really tight, then just do the tiniest of baby cobras. So I'm going to lower down and bring my hands back towards the armpits. Elbows are going to tuck into the sides of the body. And we're going to do this on a breath if that makes it easier. So as I inhale, I'm just going to peel up from the floor, shoulders roll back. So I'm not lifting that far up. And then exhale down. Inhale up. And down. This time as you inhale up, maybe use the arms and lift up a little bit higher and down. Do a few more of these. Go to the place that makes you feel comfortable. And down. Inhale up. And down. And one more, inhaling up, maybe higher this time. And down. Good work. From here, let's push up and back. And move into a child's pose. So I'm going to bring my knees a little bit further apart. And that allows me to sink into this position. Lots of nice deep breath. And then start to walk your way back, just using the hands and rolling up. Good. So the next posture that we are going to work on is the dolphin. And the dolphin is true to form inversion. We're going to be weight bearing on our forearms with our hands together and laced. And then we're going to kind of lift up through the back end of the body. We're going to push that butt up into the air. So it's a little bit like downward facing dog. The difference for me in dolphin is that I really like to stay up on the toes You may not find that you want that. Whatever feels good will feel good for you. I like to be on the toes. You might also feel like you're more comfortable and have more control if you keep your knees bent. That's totally cool. Don't worry about that at all. My knees are also going to be bent. What I want you to really think about, though, is letting your head hang in space. Your head's just going to be hanging down. It's not going to be touching the floor. It's going to be floating above your arms and your kind of hands that are together. So just be aware of that. So to set up for the posture, come down onto the forearms, and they're going to be elbow width apart. I'm going to bring my knees hip width apart, and I'm flipping my toes under to prepare. I'm going to bring my hands together and lace them. And I usually wiggle around a little bit at this point just to feel comfortable. I should say, if you have long sleeves that go right to your wrists, this is a great time to push them back. I find a bare forearm and bare elbows makes this posture way more secure, which to me makes it feel more comfortable. Okay, so we're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale, pushing up and back. Adjust your feet as you need. There's a lot of intensity here. That's okay. Breathing, staying comfortable. I'm going to try and hold for 4 or 5 more breaths. And then slowly lowering to the knees, uncurl the toes, work your way back into the child's pose. If you're ready for another round, moving back onto the forearms, hands come together, flip those toes, take a nice slow deep breath in, and then coming up and back, second time in the dolphin. Notice where the sensation comes from. Notice where the tension is. Slowly lowering, pushing into a child's pose. From here, pull your hands back along the mat. We lift up into what we call the hero, which is this posture, sitting on the heels, chest is proud. And I want to turn this into a little bit of a back bend, just to stretch and release some of the tension that can build in the shoulders after the dolphin. So I'm going to take a breath in as I exhale. Oh my, just had to pause for a good stretch from Ted. My goodness, how lovely. Oh, another good stretch. This is his main skill, is to stretch. All right, let's lift up. And then you can just place your hands on the top of the butt, bring your shoulders together. And I want you to lengthen here, leaning back, lifting the heart. Breathe. And then slowly sinking back down. Good. This is where you get to call the shots. If you would like to do a third round of dolphin, that's what I'm going to do now. Otherwise, You can rest in child's pose or do any other stretch that you need. So I'm going to bring the forearms back to the mat, connecting through the hands. Flip the toes, take a deep breath in. And exhale, lifting up and back. And then lowering to the knees, uncurl the toes, walk your hands back, roll your shoulders. So if you've taken a different position, then come back into the hero. Chest is proud, take a few breaths. And if you would like, we're going to do one more of those back bends. So I'm going to lift up one hand, and I'm rolling the shoulder back when I bring the hands here. Lengthen and lift as you press into your hands. Bring the head back. And then softening back down. Good work. So the other posture that's an obvious inversion is downward facing dog. So we're going to take a moment here and we're going to move into down dog. And I'm going to invite you to add some range of motion and a little bit of work while we're there. Now, a couple of things to think about in down dog. If your legs are feeling really tight, bend your knees. And you can even lift up onto the toes if that makes it more comfortable. For your hands, when you're placing your hands in front of you, we often want to we naturally think about middle finger leading. I want you to do a slight external rotation. So it's actually your pointer finger that's pointing in the right direction. And then you want to press your palms into the floor so that you kind of lose this little gap. You want to kind of suction cup your hands into the floor. And that will transfer the weight from the wrists up into the forearms. We want to remember to kind of suck those arms in. So a little internal rotation pulling in through the armpits and then moving the shoulder blades together. That's a whole lot to remember. Do your best. We'll hold for a number of breaths and then we'll see how it goes. So starting with your hands underneath your shoulders, and think about, I'm looking at my hands and remembering to just move them slightly. Toes are going to flip under to begin. I'm going to keep those armpits rolled in nice and tight. Take some breaths. And then when you're ready, moving up and back. And again, really focus on your head hanging in space. Really keep suctioning those hands onto the floor. See if you can hold a few more breaths, maybe 3 breaths in and out. Bringing the knees back down, and let's move into a child's pose for a few breaths. Let's come back up to the hands and knees. We're going to do one more round of downward facing dog. So again, set up your hands, pull those elbow armpits. I'm probably not describing that very well, but what I'm doing is instead of just having my arms straight in front of me, I'm internally rotating them. So it's kind of like that, really pulling together. And then I move my shoulder blades together. So this is really allowing transfer of the work that has to be done from the wrists all the way up the arms. And don't hyperextend your elbows. You can have a little bit of a bend in the elbow and you might find that comfortable too. So all of those instructions, suction cup your hands to the floor, flip the toes, and when you're ready, up and back. You can stay in a static down dog if you like, or if not, you can bring a leg up into the air, maybe open to the side. And moving around, whatever feels good. With both feet on the floor, you can walk your hands back to the feet. Drop your head slowly rolling up. And if you have a beverage, grab a sip. Great work. Okay, so if downward facing dog was feeling challenging for you, we're going to do a little bit of a flow and we're going to come into a wide-legged downward facing dog. This is a great way to transfer the weight from the wrists to the core, to the hips, to the glutes. So to do this, I'm going to show you what it looks like from the side, because sometimes it's hard for me to explain. Basically, we're going to come into the posture and then we need to kind of roll back into the hips. So let me show you first what it looks like. I'm going to take this really nice wide stance, as wide as I can go. I'll be sweeping up. I'm going to come down with my hands. Think about it, still in inversion. And then I walk my hands forward as far as I'm comfortable with. But this isn't a great posture here. So what I'm going to do is hinge back into the hips. So you kind of push back. And then that allows your head to just completely hang. To release, you're going to walk the hands back. And then you roll back up. So take a nice wide stance. Keep in mind, depending on the surface that you're on, when you roll back into the hips and your hands are forward, you might find that you get some, you might fly a little bit. So make sure whatever you're on is fairly stable. Let's sweep up. Connect the hands, lengthen, and then swan dive forward. Hands come to the floor, walk them forward. They stay shoulder width apart. Roll back into your hips, let your head hang, hold and breathe. Walk the hands back, roll up, roll your shoulders back, open the arms to the sides. I'm going to take a foot out on an angle And I'm going to sink into a warrior two. Keep the chest nice and proud, really bringing the shoulder blades together. I need more space for that front foot. There we go. And we haven't done a lot of work recently on warrior two, but you want to have equal weight going down that back leg, the front leg, this thigh is kind of externally rotating, core is tight, chest lifted. Let's do a little bit of a reverse warrior. Drop that back arm, reaching up, lengthen, leaning back. Back into a warrior two, straighten the leg, straighten the foot, sweeping up. And swan dive forward. Find your hands. Walk the hands forward. Roll back into your hips. Do 4 deep breaths in and out. Walk the hands back, rolling up. Arms open to the sides. Open up that other foot. Your legs are straight here. We're going to bend into the front knee, maybe looking out over that middle finger. If your front leg is kind of folding in or collapsing in, really keep pressing it open. Tuck the hips open to help. Drop your back arm, front arm reaches up. And lean back if you like. Back to a warrior two. Straighten the leg, straighten the foot, sweeping up. And coming back down, hands to the floor. Walking those hands forward. Push back into your hips. Let's hold it for 6 breaths more in and out. Really let the head hang. This is our last inversion. And then walk your hands back. Slowly rolling up. Let's reach up to the sky. Connect the hands. Leaning over to one side. Back to center. To the other side. Back to center. And relaxing the arms down, opening up through the chest. Let's bring our feet back together. Take a lazy mountain. That's terminology you don't often hear, lazy mountain. But just relax here, spread those feet. Spread your toes wide, lift up through the arches, soften through your knees. Shoulders are back, arms just hang. Close your eyes, sway a little bit. And just notice how you feel. Good. Let's open the eyes, bring the hands to the heart. Let's come on down to the mat. Bring your knees right up onto the tummy and gently rocking from side to side. Keep the left knee in nice and tight, right leg stretches out. I invite you to bring that leg out to the bent leg out to the side just slightly. Keep the shoulders back. And then guide that leg across the midline, switching hands. Back to center, switch legs, pull that knee in. Deep breaths here. You can pull your knee out to the side. So we're working away from the midline here. And then come back to center, crossing over the midline. Back to center. Good. Bring your knees together, hug them in nice and tight. And for the Shavasana, which will be brief, because of course I always take longer than I think I'm going to take with all of this. Let's bring the feet down to the floor, outer edges of the mat. Let your knees rest against each other. And then cross the arms over the chest. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. And just let the body soften. You take another deep breath, untangle, stretch from your fingertips to your toes. And then pull your knees into the tummy. Make your way up to a seated posture. And just take a moment here to sit, to breathe deeply, to really kind of be proud in your posture and think for a moment about what we've worked through today, from the inversions to the lymphatic work. Take a moment to reflect on what was challenging and hard. And then take a moment to check in with yourself and think about Do you need another stretch? Do you need a hot shower? What do you need to ensure that you are ready for whatever lies ahead? Let's bring the hands to the heart. And please allow me to send gratitude to everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today and for joining Jeff and Ted. So ran in and out. It's always such joy for me to start Sunday with so many great people. And I hope that your week ahead is fabulous, no matter where you're located. Namaste, and I hope you will keep letting your perspective change in the days ahead.